Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, back with a preview of some of the reels that have come in this week. And well, I don't know if that's Jingle Bells or if that's Santa coming, or, well, if we just got something here that's a reel in a box project. And what we're going to do today is we're going to review some of the reels that have recently either been dropped off at my my shop, or those that I'm scheduled to work on this week. We'll give you an idea of what's in store for us as we enter the new year. And, well, we'll preview for you the opportunities you have to see how to service and repair videos. And before I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe to my channel, please use the notification button. That'll let you know when I'm posting the videos. And, well, if there's one that you're interested in, then you'll have the opportunity to see it first before it goes into my library. Well, let's see what this is. This is Chris who's sending this one in. And yep, it's a reel in a bag project. This one is an Okuma. It's the Okuma CBF 40. What it looks like, BF is bait feeder. Looks like we've got it to a certain extent here, but we don't have it to completeness. And I'm not familiar with the CBF. I am familiar with the Okuma bait feeders. And the most important part of doing any reel is the schematic, and I think we have the schematic here. That's all good, and that's very helpful in terms of how to do that. And it, interestingly enough, it looks like we've got, well, even though it's in the wrong language, looks like we have the alignment issue here with an elliptical drive. So I don't know if that's been causing him to have the problem with this in the reassembly, or if it's something else. I'm not sure, but we will put that reel back together to Chris, and we'll get it out there fishing again. All right, next up then is a box of reels that was just dropped off by Dave. I met Dave out at a fishing flea market in Long Island, and he contacted me about some reels that he would like serviced. He and his friend Chuck dropped them off, and I thought I would incorporate those into this video. There's about 6 or 7 of them here. One of them that I'm sure everybody will be interested in seeing, this is a Newell reel. It is the Newell 235-5. He's asked me to go ahead and upgrade these to ceramic ball bearings and Carbon-Tex drag washers. So we're going to see if those are available, and if they are, we're certainly going to do that for him. He brought in 2 of the Squidder Juniors, the 146s, and these are original to the reel, the 146. Sometimes you'll see these as conversions where they'll take a standard 140 side plate, but if you want the true junior, then that's what you're going to have, the 146. There's 2 of those, as I mentioned, and the service on these are essentially the same as the 140, and I have videos on the 140 in my library, so there's plenty of them out there you can take a look at. Next one up is a very nice reel. This is the Pen 10. It's in the Mag Powered series, or Mag Tuned series. There's an issue here with the line guide has fallen out of the track, and other than that, it looks to be in good condition. He has asked as well, you can hear the noising going on there. He's asked if I might be able to change out the bearings on that, and we'll try to do that as well. I have a 113H, that's the high-speed Penn Senator. This one looks like it was dragged up from Davy Jones' locker. It's got a lot of salt corrosion on it and the like, but he says, you know what, it's going to be a heavy fisher, and let's just take care of that one as well while he brought the reels up. He brought in a Penn 720. 722. We just did the 720, and this one, I think the difference is we have a ball bearing up top. So this one's grease choked like the other one was. And you can always tell how long these things have been in storage. If you've got a rubber band that's kind of rusting or rotting away here and stuck to the monofilament, you know it's been a while since this reel's been fished. And, well, we're going to do our best to try and take care of that as well. In addition to that, his buddy Chuck brought in one of my least favorite reels. It's the Tsunami Shield. Least favorite in a lot of regards. This has got that kind of unibody thing where you need the special tool. That's all right, I have the special tool for that. But here you go. We have a bail that doesn't trip. And we've talked about tsunamis over time. And one of my least favorite things about them is the lack of parts and support. Also looking through here, there's an awful lot of sand that is accumulated under the spool and on top of the rotor. Maybe we'll get a better view of it this way. He tells me that it gets fished hard, and my guess is on that bail that the reason why that bail isn't firing is that it probably got bent out of shape, and maybe we can just kind of help it to spring back into shape. I'm just trying to take this off before we move on to the next project, just to show, yeah, we're full of sand there, and that's kind of evidence that it doesn't get washed out on a regular basis. And I always am a proponent, as soon as you get done with your fishing for the trip, make sure you rinse your reels off in fresh water. Either hose them off, or if you don't have a hose, just immerse it in a bucket or a pail of water. That water will do enough to loosen up the sands, get the salts off of that, and get it ready for the next trip. The next one was actually dropped off. It's a Heddon. It's a vintage reel. It's a Heddon 284. This one, well, it's from that era, the early 70s, I would say, because it always says, assembled in the U.S. from parts made in Japan. So that's when the manufacturers were actually feeling badly about offshoring some of the production pieces, and they started putting that disclaimer in there. There was a big feedback, flashback or flushback or whatever you want to call it, from Penn. Penn actually had made a small bait caster, and they had put that on there, and people revolted, and they never released the bait caster. I actually have one. It's under the Penn name, but it was supposed to be scrubbed, and somehow I wound up finding it at a flea market one day. At any rate, this is the Heddon 284. It's a large size reel. One of the issues here is that the anti-reverse override doesn't work. That switch is missing. Other than that, so what does that mean? That means it's locked into a forward spinning reel all the time, and you can't trip the anti-reverse dog to backpedal with the reel. That's okay. Almost all of the reels today are made that way, right? They have the instant anti-reverse clutch. This is not one of those. This is way before the anti-reverse clutches came into being. But what that does is it just locks you in, and well, you're going to have to fight the fish all the time using your star adjuster up top here. And this one's called a super alloy spool, solid spool. So it's looking like it's kind of aluminum, but I guess it's some kind of alloy, and well, that's okay. This one, you can tell all of the greases have leaked out of it, no doubt some of it because that hole there. It's pretty dirty overall, but you know what, it's riding nicely. So I'm going to check my library. I don't think I've done one of those. If I haven't done one, I'm certainly going to add that one to the library, and we'll be able to work on that one, show you how to service that reel if you have it yourself. And if not, you'll just learn a little bit about how reels were made in the 70s and what the platform is for this particular reel. Well, if you have a question on that reel or any reel in particular, please leave it in the comment section. I will be happy to try and answer that question for you. And well, maybe it's about the reel's history. Maybe you're working on a reel, you got stuck, you can't figure out how to install a part. Whatever it is, leave that and I will try to answer that question for you. So that's the second one that came in. That was a local drop-off. So was this. I have a bag full of reels here. They're Shimano reels. I know that because I talked to, I think it's Tim. It's Tim. Tim dropped these reels off the other day when I wasn't around, and I talked to him. And, well, we got 3 Shimanos here. I think that's probably the reels that we'll make them all to video because they're relatively new reels, and I like to keep adding those fresh ones to me. The first one up is a Saragossa. I like these reels a lot. This one it said clean and inspect and make sure that everything is ready to go again. He said there might be some worn parts in there. I guess he's got some damage on these spools. He's asked me to see if I can't smooth them out, and we'll try to do that. But interestingly enough, that damage there is he filled it in with nail polish. That's a good idea. I don't know pretty much more what to do with that. There's too much line on this reel. This reel should be back off maybe 1/8 of an inch. This is going right to the capacity cup. That's never a good idea. But other than that, we'll see what we can do with that one. So that's the Saragossa SW Saltwater 6000. All of these reels have a manual bail. You'll notice if you try to flip it, it won't flip. That's not the fault of the reel. They are manual bail setups. Penn Spinfisher has recently done that as well. The Spinfisher 5s and 6s and the 6,000 sizes and above. They're all manual bail flips. I actually had a person bring in a reel not that long ago. It was a 6th generation. He said, I just took this reel out of the box and my bail doesn't flip. Well, it was a Spinfisher 7000 series size, and it's built with a manual bail. This one is a Shimano Spheros, the same thing, clean, lube, and so on. So we'll see what we can do with that. This is the Spheros SW6000HG. And this one is another Spheros. It's probably a different version because it's got a different coloration to it. And it's got the 6000 spool on it for the Spheros. It looks to be almost an identical spool topping anyway to the SW6000 on the Saragossa. And they seem to work fine. So we'll try to do videos on those to make sure that we all learn something from that. And on this one, he's asked me to see if I can't grind it out or smooth it down or whatever on those little things. He said, looks like it's obviously bumped something that scarred it. We'll do our best that we can there. But that nail polish is not a bad idea. And if you find yourself in something like that, nail polish actually is a pretty good filler. All right, let's put those aside for a moment. And there's one more box that came in, so let's see what's in that. Actually, there's 2 more boxes that came in. This one comes in from, I'm thinking to trying to open these up ahead of time. This is from Gary in Pennsylvania. Gary's sending me a classic, I know that. This is a classic. You don't see these around much. They're highly valued and they're actually pretty expensive when you go to take them on eBay. This is a Penn Spinfisher. It's the Z series. It's the 716, which is the smallest in the lineup. This one is a 716Z. And what he's saying is, we have a bail problem here. He said the retainer clip here, the arm, is not resting on the plastic. It's behind the plastic, which is causing the bail to fall down lower than it should, and of course the line to wrap a little differently. Well, looking from underneath here, that is not full against the case, which is what it should be, which would pull this arm in. And we're not full on this side either. So I would say you should never have a screw that loose on this side. So chances are this bail has gotten bent, and that's caused the issue. So I don't believe I've done the 716 as a video in my library, so I think what we'll do is we'll do that, and we'll also show you how to reset the bail. I think this bail only has the one side spring. It would be on this side, so we'll go ahead and do that as a project. And this is interesting because the bail is on one side, the spring is on one side, the trip lever is on the other. Some of the other greenies, I don't remember exactly which one it is, has a spring on both sides. Boy, you want to talk about a powerful mouse trap. That is certainly it. But you can also see that the bail wire is bent here because the angle of the arm is going like this. It's not parallel with the case like this. So that says that this thing has been bent, and well, just a little bit of effort, and we'll show you how to do that. We'll solve that particular issue. We'll also tune that one up. And finally, I've done a couple of these older reels from time to time. This one is the Shakespeare Service reel. It's model 1944, a very popular reel post-war. And this one, we'll see exactly when it was made. I'll show you how to service the service reel, and we'll take it forward. I'm going to do a short video on that one. I'll spoiler alert. Service, the name of a reel, service, was a generally used term in the 1940s. It meant that it was an all-around, all-purpose reel that was somewhere between the big reels for saltwater fishing and the lighter bait casting reels. It was an intermediate reel. It could be used inshore, it could be used in lakes, from boats and piers, and it was generally a utility, and that's kind of where that service word came from, sort of like a utility that it fit many purposes. So that's why it was named service, for those of you that may have been curious. Well, I'll do that as a YouTube short, but while we're here, I want to thank our first responders and essential personnel for everything that they do and for dedicating their life to service of the public. To all, I wish you well. I wish you a happy new year. Please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.